Welcome to the Business of Platforms, a video podcast series where Vivaldi will be chatting with the world's leading marketers, thinkers, and innovators about the evolution of business and the exciting ways in which platforms are helping companies and brands deliver greater value. Welcome back to the Business of Platforms podcast. We're again with Erich Joachimsthaler and JP Kuelwhein to continue the conversation started in episode 17. Make sure to listen to part 1 of this conversation for some fantastic insights on how CPG businesses are facing the world of platforms. And now, let's jump right back into where they had left off.
What I like about these platforms is that they require collaboration. They are participatory. And that means you rely a lot on relationships and on collaboration. And at the same time, that lends itself for feeling a belonging and signing up to kind of a shared purpose and mission. If you think about the other example, Airbnb, that becomes very clear, and I think they've embraced it very early out of need, and we can talk about that. But it puts participatory at the center, collaboration, and from there spring things like purpose, like customization, the possibility of customization, and relationships. And if you think about it from a brand and interface between brand and stakeholders perspective, those are all things that are extremely valued in this economy right now. You know, everyone wants that their consumption has a higher purpose than just the utilitarian benefit. They want that brand, to do more than just, be a toothpaste or be a treadmill or, be a sweater. It wants it to be socially conscious, environmentally conscious, save the world in some way, or have a vision, think of Tesla, that you share or get excited about. And in that way, I think these platforms, they deliver on that because it indeed requires such a shared purpose to even work. So if you look at Airbnb, without this shared purpose that they have of belong anywhere, i.e. be a neighbor, be a local anywhere, they wouldn't be able to get this trusting relationship that people are looking for, i.e., I'm going to trust my host to be a good host, to show me around, not to lose me. And as a host, I trust that stranger coming into my home. It's an enormous social trust project, as the founders described it, and it requires this kind of shared sentiment and purpose and building some level of relationship. And so in that way, platforms deliver on some of the most cutting edge and deepest desires that marketing, is coping with in trying to create around brands.
Well, when you say belong everywhere, and this is what Airbnb says, that already is emotional. That's an emotional message. It's no longer, the quality of our beds and the quality of our service in some ways. So is it possible that the classic pipeline is a very transactional business? I deliver you a premium car, a premium hotel room, and in exchange you pay me a particular price. Versus in this new world of platforms, it's not transactional but interactional, and interactional means that purpose is no longer that you, dear company, is sort of contributing to poor people in Africa somewhere, let's say, or poor people in America here, but and help them to live a better life. Purpose is actually something that I participate in creating. I'm participating. I'm contributing to the purpose of the brand. Trust comes from interaction, not from transaction in some ways.
Yes, and I think yes, you're right. That is the appealing feature, and I think classic pipeline companies can expand and make this part of what they're doing. And I think that's where this other example of Mars Petcare, which started as a totally classic, fierce competitor in the CPG space, seems to be doing an incredible transformation towards becoming truly a platform and an ecosystem that will be able to harness this participatory, predictive, personalized kind of servicing and collaboration that we're talking about and that we described for the Vitality program. I mean, Mars Petcare is, if you want to describe it,
they are not that well known as a company. They are private companies. So how does it work with Mars Petcare?
Right. So Mars basically, I mean, what we all know is, the dog food, the Iams, Eukanuba, Pedigree, and so on, Caesar, whatever, if it's a cat. But they have, starting actually already quite some time ago, expanded, vertically into pet healthcare. So they bought pet clinics, for example. Then they've invested into these intelligent Internet of Things tools that have spruced up around pets, like intelligent collars that basically measure the activity of your pet and then measure the nutrition and it needs or the potential healthcare issues it might have derived from that. They've gobbled up a lot of this. And you could say and argue, well, that's just increasing your pipeline, making this control sphere even bigger, creating a monopolistic structure. And certainly to some extent, that's what it is. But they've also opened it up. So there are some API, I think you would call it in the software world, there are some open ends where they share data or they participate in programs or they open up programs. So for example, there is a program around making cities more pet friendly, and they openly invite on their platform both citizens as well as civic leaders to sign up, to get the program points, co-develop the programs, implement them, etc. And obviously, it goes way beyond what Mars Petcare could control and do themselves. So here you go. If you think forward to what will become possible and is already to some large extent possible now at Mars, it's incredible because, whether it's nutrition, health, entertainment, the interaction between pet and owner, the owner's health, Mars can contribute to all of that and can do it in personalized, participatory ways. I think where the importance here lies in to harness this, but do it in an open, interactive fashion, as you say. Be transparent about it. Brand it, yes, to recognize it, but then also have a purpose that people buy into and not only buy against a fee. And that's where I think is also the danger of platforms that we see on the pure platform plays, where they haven't evolved that. The swing wheel and the monopolistic opportunities of this scaling, the network effects of platforms, have actually led to some native, so platform, or original platforms like Uber or Amazon or eBay that are actually quite, quote unquote, scary from a people perspective. We start to have concerns about what is Facebook doing with our privacy, about will Amazon kind of monopolistic own all consumption I have? Does it even listen to me stealthily via Alexa to predict everything I need so no other supplier can get a shot at it? Uber is mistreating their drivers just to squeeze out a cent, etc., etc. So I think this aspect of transparency, interdependency, open collaboration is a very important part to avoid that the platform benefits are being negated in the end because people realize they become too powerful, if that makes sense.
Well, I think that definitely should be a topic on some future podcast. But when I think of Mars Petcare, when I think of the traditional ways is Mars Petcare provides me with very good quality dog food. I have a dog, and her name is Sadie. She's a husky, and let me tell you, in order to live with a dog here in the of that size of a dog in an apartment on the Upper West Side here in New York, there's a lot more challenges that I have to manage my dog. You know, I need to take the dog on a regular business to the park. I need to walk the dog, a husky. I need to actually run the dog. I need to take care of the health of the dog. You know, there are various doctors veterinarians that my dog is sort of has to go to. There's a regimen of the dog, how it grows in the first year, in the second year, and third year. So in a way, this platform, before it becomes monopolistic or before it becomes, let's say, scary, there is a very positive purpose behind the Mars platform, because it isn't just selling me more dog food or healthy dog food. It's actually helping me living my life around the dog, you know, in some ways, you know.
Absolutely, and you can translate it to, you know, from pet care to Pampers, for example, that I know well.
Yes.
And you can apply this, and you can say, wow, Pampers can be so much bigger than great diapers, you know, so much bigger than great diapers delivered via subscribe system, so much better than diapers and wipes delivered by subscribe. I mean, imagine everything the Pampers brand, together with moms and babies and pediatricians and hospitals and daycare centers, etc., can do together as an ecosystem that relieves some of the enormous pressures, you know, of, you know, working parents and you know, growing up baby. So I think, yes, that is where it shows the power of building ecosystems, and also what to keep in mind in order for it already at this stage not to backfire. I mean, some of the early pioneers of ecosystems are there to already remind us of it as, you know, traditional pipeline players, and know how to design ours in ways that, you know, might not lead to the emerging pressure we now see about breakup and so on and so on.
Yes. Can we leave the listener with a point? What is the starting point of thinking about a platform business when you are a pipeline manufacturer or pipeline or value chain, a traditional company? And I'm trying to find the analogy that you just mentioned between Pampers and between Mars in a way. If I remember Pampers decided that they were not just about absorption of liquid, let's say, that they were not just about this functional benefit. They were more about helping parents in the development of the child in some ways. So it was a massive shift in mindset from being a product, being functional, being an excellent premium product in some ways, to a much more meaningful purpose, if you will. You use that word, a brand that stands for helping consumers, or in this case parents, manage the life, the development of the child or the toddler or the baby. And in the same way here with Mars, you say the same thing. It's not about better dog food. It's about helping pet owners live around, manage the daily life of living around the pet in some ways. So it's a higher purpose in some way, and it's a more meaningful purpose in this day and age we all live, you know, where we manage so many things and
I think you're absolutely right. You know, it is really about looking at the opportunity to fully deliver on this higher purpose that so many companies, because it's become fashionable, have spent so much time on developing recently, right? There's not one company anymore, one brand that doesn't have a purpose. But what you need to do now is really think openly transcending kind of the pure pipeline and product thinking, think about how you can deliver this in a collaborative, participatory way. So for Pampers, you know, the declared purpose, at least up until a year or two ago, was something around healthy, happy development of baby. If you take that and you think beyond poopy diapers, it opens up incredible possibility for an ecosystem, right? Healthy, happy development of babies.
Yes.
And it's almost unlimited opportunity. In fact, it's all about who will do it first and who will do it smarter. And if you apply the old thinking of wanting to control everything and scale everything, you're probably not going to be fast enough to grab that opportunity. And that's where we come back to the beginning of the conversation. That's where the ecosystems and the platforms have flabbergasted, at least at the beginning, traditional industries in the speed and the speed of growth and the enthusiasm